couple minutes after I'm up there. I'm already into material, so I don't care. Who cares if they recorded me making fun of Pang Dang, on a random Thursday show? No big deal.
In comedy, there is an unwritten rule. When the mob comes for you, when the headlines turn hostile and the sponsors pull out and the internet decides you are finished, you are supposed to apologize. You release a statement. You say you have learned. You disappear for a while and come back softer. Tony Hinchcliffe has never done any of that. Not when he was dropped by one of the biggest talent agencies in the world, not when clubs across the country canceled his shows overnight, not when he stood at a podium inside Madison Square Garden, told a joke about Puerto Rico that detonated across every news network on the planet, and was condemned by senators, governors, presidential candidates, and Latin pop stars in the same breath. His response, every single time, has been the same. He does not apologize. He does not explain. He does not slow down. And the comedians who know him best, they do not just defend him, they celebrate him for it. This is the story of how Tony Hinchcliffe turned the refusal to apologize into the most powerful career strategy in modern comedy. Segment 1. The Comedy Store, where sorry was a dirty word. In 2007, a kid from Youngstown, Ohio showed up at the Comedy Store in West Hollywood and took the only job they would give him, working the phones and the cover booth. Every night, he watched the most ruthless comics in the country walk past him and take the stage. And every night, he absorbed the philosophy that defined that room. On stage, nothing is off limits. That philosophy was the legacy of Mitzi Shore, who believed the stage was sovereign territory. What happened up there did not answer to the rules of polite society. It answered to one thing only, whether or not the audience laughed. Hinchcliffe internalized that idea so completely that it became the foundation of everything he built.
In books and stuff. It all really started for me. I was always a Letterman guy. I was obviously a Stern guy, like I said. Everything that Jim Carrey, the more that I grew up, the more I realized that
he was not just learning how to write jokes. He was learning that the worst thing a comedian could do was apologize for one. Segment 2. The roast writer nobody saw coming. Starting in 2013, Hinchcliffe became one of the most sought-after writers for the Comedy Central roast franchise. He wrote for the roast of James Franco. He wrote for the roast of Justin Bieber.
$50,000 on a watch. I forget that term for that. It's not
and the set he crafted for Martha Stewart became one of the most viral roast performances in the show's history. A 73-year-old woman delivering jokes so savage the entire internet lost its mind. And the architecture behind those jokes was Tony Hinchcliffe. He did it again for the roast of Rob Lowe, this time writing for Ann Coulter, a political firebrand delivering roast material on a comedy stage. It was controversial, it was polarizing, and it worked. Hinchcliffe did not just understand the roast format. He understood how to map the darkest possible humor onto any human being, regardless of how untouchable they seemed. In the roast world, the very concept of an apology is a violation of the contract between the performer and the audience. He turned that into a religion. Segment 3. Kill Tony, building the Church of No Mercy. In 2013, Hinchcliffe and producer Brian Redban launched Kill Tony. The format was brutally simple. Aspiring comedians put their names in a bucket. If your name gets pulled, you get 1 minute on stage. When your minute is up, Hinchcliffe and a rotating panel of guest comedians critique your performance. Except critique is a generous word. What actually happens is a public roasting. Your material, your delivery.
Protect hands, Kim.
Oh my God.
Your appearance, your voice, your life choices, everything is fair game. Critics have called it bullying. Supporters call it the most honest comedy environment on the planet. Either way, Kill Tony became the laboratory where Hinchcliffe's no-apology philosophy went from personal belief to institutional culture. Every comedian who walked onto that stage knew the rules going in, and the audience loved it precisely because nobody was pretending to be nice. Segment 4. Bill Burr says what everyone is thinking. Bill Burr appeared on Kill Tony and watched Hinchcliffe tear apart a newcomer who had clearly just started doing comedy. Burr, a comedian known for his own aggressive style, pushed back hard. He confronted Hinchcliffe on stage, telling him it was wrong to mock people for being at the exact same stage of their career where every professional comedian once started. It was a genuine confrontation, not scripted, not performative. Hinchcliffe's response? Nothing. He did not apologize. He did not change the format. He did not soften his approach for the next episode.
For Pat O'Neill, everybody. Pat O'Neill.
He treated the confrontation as proof that Kill Tony was doing exactly what it was supposed to do, creating moments so raw and unpredictable that even legends like Bill Burr could not stay neutral. The old guard said it was cruel. The new guard said it was honest. And the show just kept getting bigger. Segment 5. The Ric Flair Incident. Nobody Gets a Pass. Wrestling legend. Ric Flair appeared as a guest on Kill Tony. Flair is one of the most iconic figures in sports entertainment history, a hero to millions, including Hinchcliffe himself. When the roasting of a guest turned particularly aggressive, Flair became visibly uncomfortable. He tried to lecture the panel on respect. He pushed back against the energy of the room. In any normal show, you defer to the legend.
People, you gotta make more noise than that. It's Dr. Phil and Santana. There you go.
Hinchcliffe, along with guests Shane Gillis and Ari Shaffir, did the opposite. They roasted Flair, a man celebrated for decades, sitting right there, visibly distressed, and the response was to go harder. The format is the format, and nobody gets a pass. Segment 6. The 2021 Cancellation, dropped by everyone. It happened at the Vulcan Gas Company in Austin in 2021. Comedian Peng Dang introduced Hinchcliffe on stage, and Hinchcliffe immediately launched into material targeting Dang's ethnicity with a racial slur and a mocking accent.
Oh, we making a gunpowder. Oh, you want extra soy sauce. Oh, you borrow money from us. And you guys just eating it up, you fucking pussy.
The clip went viral within hours. The consequences were immediate. William Morris Endeavor dropped him. Clubs across the country canceled his bookings. Festival appearances vanished overnight. Sponsorship deals were terminated. In about 72 hours, the professional infrastructure he had built over a decade was dismantled. This was the moment where the standard playbook says, "You apologize." Hinchcliffe never released a statement. He never apologized. Years later, when asked about it by Variety, he said he knew what he had done was not wrong, and that it was not even the worst thing he had done that week. That response is either delusional arrogance or absolute conviction, depending on where you stand. But what happened next suggests it might have been a calculated bet. Segment 7. The Austin Fortress. Building a cancel-proof career. The cancellation was supposed to cut off Hinchcliffe's access to audiences. Instead, he moved to Austin and helped build a parallel comedy industry. Joe Rogan had already established Austin as a comedy destination with the comedy Mothership. Kill Tony eventually relocated there. Suddenly, Hinchcliffe was not dependent on traditional gatekeepers. He had his own venue, his own podcast, his own audience.
Nerd off you guys are having. It is incredible. I invited him to my house to play Catan. I let him use my retainer when he went to sleep that night.
And that audience was growing specifically because of the controversy, not in spite of it. The numbers tell the story. Before 2021, Hinchcliffe was playing 300-seat clubs in LA. By the end of 2023, he was selling out an 8,000-seat arena on New Year's Eve. Kill Tony became one of the top comedy podcasts in the world. The comedians around him, Shane Gillis, Tom Segura, Ari Shaffir, formed a network that was immune to the pressure points used against him. Tony Hinchcliffe did not survive his cancellation. He used it as a launchpad. Segment 8. Madison Square Garden. The Joke Heard Around the World. October 27, 2024, Madison Square Garden. A rally for Donald Trump 1 week before the presidential election. The campaign invites Tony Hinchcliffe to deliver an 11-minute set.
17 years ago, I was sleeping in my car behind the Comedy Store in LA, and I'm proud to say this is my 4th time performing at Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the damn world.
What followed was the most consequential comedy set in modern American political history. The joke that detonated was about Puerto Rico. He compared the island to a floating mass of garbage in the ocean. Within minutes, Bad Bunny, Jennifer Lopez, and Ricky Martin had publicly condemned it. Within hours, senators and governors from both parties were distancing themselves. The Trump campaign released a statement saying the joke did not reflect the views of the president. It dominated the news cycle for the final week of the election. Political analysts debated whether a single joke by a comedian most Americans had never heard of could actually influence a presidential race. And Tony Hinchcliffe? He did exactly what Tony Hinchcliffe always does. Segment 9. The non-apology, doubling down at the worst possible time. He did not apologize. He attacked his critics for having no sense of humor. He went after specific politicians by name, calling out Tim Walz and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for what he described as taking a joke out of context to manufacture outrage. At his next live show, he stood on stage in front of a crowd that was absolutely on his side and said he apologized to absolutely nobody.
And right now, that is happening, and I apologize to absolutely nobody.
He even tried to reframe the original joke as an environmental observation, claiming he was the only person in the room informed enough to know about an actual landfill issue on the island. Whether you buy that reframing or not, the audacity of trying to turn a racial insult into a policy comment is pure Hinchcliffe. Segment 10. The Defense Network. Why comedians closed ranks. Joe Rogan went on his podcast and defended the joke. He said the rally was a terrible setup for comedy, like trying to play acoustic music while jackhammers are going off. But he defended the material as genuinely funny. Jon Stewart, on The Daily Show, offered something even more unexpected. A defense from the other side of the political aisle. Stewart argued the outrage was misplaced. Hinchcliffe is a roast comedian. Booking a roast comic at a political rally was the mistake. Andrew Schultz went even further on his flagrant podcast, framing Hinchcliffe's refusal to apologize as the ultimate expression of what comedy is supposed to be: unfiltered, uncomfortable, and completely immune to political pressure.
President of the United States of America. This is Joe Biden. You can do better than that. Make some goddamn noise for your...
Even J.D. Vance, then a vice presidential candidate, pushed back on the outrage. This is the defense network Hinchcliffe built over 2 decades. When the entire internet comes for you, it helps to have the biggest podcaster on the planet, the most respected satirist in television history, and a vice presidential candidate all saying the same thing. He is a comedian, and comedians do not apologize. Segment 11. Netflix says yes. The corporate stamp of approval. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos defended the company's multi-special deal with Hinchcliffe in terms that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. He compared the backlash against Hinchcliffe to the historical censorship of Lenny Bruce and George Carlin. He said the only cost of entry to Netflix was being funny for enough people.
Netflix is a very consumer-focused company. We really do care that we deliver the programming to you in a way you want to watch it, that it's programming that you love and desire.
That statement is enormous. It means Hinchcliffe's audience has reached a critical mass where he is no longer dependent on the approval of any traditional gatekeeper. His first special under the deal, Kill or Be Killed, was recorded at the comedy Mothership in Austin, the very building where he rebuilt his career after being canceled. That is not just a creative choice. That is a victory lap